All right. We are live. All right. Going live. Now I see why folks need producers. This is a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of work. I forgot to text the team. How about that? That was goofy.
It's been one of them weeks.
It has.
Oh, we live. Okay,
We are
y'all
live.
come on in.
Yeah, y'all come on in. While we still trying to share and all this stuff. And y'all let us know that you are here. Let us know where you're from. Hashtag live. All that good stuff. We are talking Texas.
Share it on my end.
We are sharing. All right. We are live, y'all. So we are going to talk about. Oh, hold on. Let me take that off. We take off the banner. I goofed.
Yeah, it's all
I
right.
had two things in there. We're growing and becoming. There we go.
One, two. Where's
All right. All is well on that side. Now I'm going to go to Facebook and share the GIP part. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Compute old taxes. Come with more questions. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, cool. All right, y'all. Well, welcome to our Saturday Tax Talks. I am Sonja Jones of GIP Financials with Mr. Miyagi of Money. Of course, I have my ace, Latasha Phillips, our accounting manager for GIP Financials, and also the CEO of Legacy Pro Accounting. She is definitely our tax lead for our organization. And so we just wanted to dedicate March for talking about taxes and tax strategies and answering a lot of your commonly asked questions that come from our social media, from our discovery calls, our workshops, and all of the like, right? So, um, make sure that you bring your questions because this particular topic here, I know it's going to be a big one, right? And then definitely worth a replay and you taking some notes. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about I owe taxes. Now what? And so we just wanted to make sure that you guys had some best practices in place, especially now the date is April the 6th and taxes are due April the 15th by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. At least I believe that's 11 p.m. It's Central, the deadline Central Standard Time, right? I think
good
so.
question?
Good.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And so we just wanted to make sure, right? Especially if you guys are like, "Oh crap, I hadn't done anything," or you kind of like in panic mode right now. Um, First of all, we just want to let you know that you have help and resources here, right? So we just have a couple things that we want to talk about tonight when it comes to you owing taxes. Okay. So the first thing that we want to tell you, if you find out that you owe taxes for the 2023 tax year, here's what you're gonna do. We need you to calm down. We need you to chill, right? That's the first thing. Because in most cases, when you're owing taxes, all that means is that you what your income is, you have paid towards, those the federal taxes withheld has been less than whatever the taxes owed based off of your adjusted gross income. That's all that means from a fundamental basis, right? And so in that case, if you know, if you look at the W-2 and you see your box number one with the money that you had, you know, paid to you in your gross wages, take a look at it box number two.
Hmm.
So say if you made about $45,000. Box number two only got $9 in it. Bam. You gonna owe some taxes. You are going to owe some taxes. So that's my very basic level description. So go ahead, Latasha, what you got to say about it?
Yeah. And for those who have a business, if you know you were very profitable and didn't make estimated quarterly tax payments, it's a possibility you're going to owe taxes as well, especially if you didn't have any bookkeeping in place.
Exactly. Right. And that's the thing. And truth be told, that's a lot of our clients kind of come in that vein,
Hmm.
right? Because they're all into the thing of making money and all that good stuff and want
Hmm.
to write everything off. But still at the end of the day, because they haven't, held the best practices of, and especially for those who have significant growth, right? Um,
Hmm.
particularly our LLCs, right? And they really should probably, because of that significant growth, like a 5 figure to a 6 figure jump, that's probably, depending on what the net profit looks like, that
Right.
could possibly even be a S corp election, right?
Correct.
So but if you're not aware of that, and say you made $600,000 and you probably had $500,000. Real simple math. Five hundred
Hmm.
thousand dollars of expenses. Your net profit was $100,000. In that situation, if your net profit is that, and you file a Schedule C, you're paying 15.3% on that $100,000.
Hmm.
Where all you have to do to pay less is to take that S corporation, and that's a process, right? That you have to, um, you know, to take as far as filing paperwork and stuff like that to get that approved, right? So you have to be, with somebody that's very, especially if you're in a business, please get with a specialist who knows not just if they do business taxes, but remember what our tip is. You ask them, do you file this particular form? And if they take too long to respond, 9 out of 10, they probably don't file that form or they're not familiar with it, right? So ask them, do you file the Schedule C tax return? They should know what that is. If
Hmm.
they hesitate, then they don't. It's as simple as that, right? So calm down. That's number one. Number two, get a second opinion from another tax preparer. There's nothing wrong with that. So I want to ask Latasha a question. So in the event, Latasha, that you're filing taxes, right?
Hmm.
And I'm asking Latasha the questions that y'all should be asking, right? So, Latasha, when you file my taxes at the end, once it's all done, do you go over those numbers with me, or what happens after you file my taxes, or at least prepare my taxes?
I actually do. If you owe money, I've been putting together what's considered an analysis for those who actually owe money. If you get a refund, I don't provide an analysis. But for those of you that actually, if you end up owing money, I do put together an analysis from previous year versus the current year, just so you can get an understanding of what the difference is and why you actually owe money. And I even give suggestions on what you should do in 2024 going forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I guess you heard that, y'all. So what should be happening at the end of, a proper tax filing, your tax preparer should be walking you through what those findings are and giving you some tips. Same thing on the bookkeeping side, because remember we talked about that a couple of lives ago, right? Bookkeeping and tax preparation are two separate functions. So when we're doing your bookkeeping, especially for a cleanup, we're letting you know, here's your net profit for your business. What
Mm-hmm.
does this mean? If it's positive, you're going to have to pay taxes on this amount. If it's negative, that means you're reporting a loss. We have a specific, strategy, or give you tips if you have a net operating loss. And then we also give you guidance if you have, a profit for your business, because you have to, be prepared for those things. Because if you don't, like Latasha said, start paying estimated quarterly taxes, especially when you first start your business, um, and you got that net profit, that's going to be added as additional income, which can affect how much you owe, right?
Right.
So just be aware of that. So always get a second opinion from a tax preparer. Next thing, request a payment plan from the IRS. So Latasha, do you have anything to add about that?
No, I actually don't. I do agree that you should request a payment plan, but I'll give an example of one of mine. Even if you request a payment plan, you still want to make sure that you at least pay something, like when the taxes are due, so that
Mhm,
they can know up front, like, okay, this is how much you owed. Let me at least pay something towards it and not wait for the penalties and interest to accumulate and accrue
mhm.
before doing
Absolutely.
so.
Right. All right. So just make sure, and especially even when it comes to filing an extension, because the extension will ask you, like, hey, if you feel like you're gonna be owing some taxes, how much you think you're gonna owe?
Yep.
Right. So at least try to estimate, and then come on, y'all. If you knew last year that you owed, right, just go put it on the sheet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just going to put it on there. It's not gonna, it's not gonna hurt anything, because it's just like I said, it's an estimate. Because once you file your taxes, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna see, you know, that things may be adjusted.
Right.
So yeah, request a payment plan. Go ahead, Latasha.
You saw I was going to say something,
Yeah. I caught it.
huh? Because I also want to say those payments that you make, you can't write them off the following year either, because it's taxes that you owe from the previous year.
Mm,
But if you have that payment plan and you're trying to make estimated quarterly tax payments as well, then those payments will be deductible on your next tax return. It has to be for the current tax year.
got you. And when you're saying those payments, are you talking about? I'm thinking from a business side. Are you just talking about the penalties and fees, or the taxes owed itself? Because I
The
can hear
tax
somebody. Go ahead.
owed itself, yes. So, say for instance, you owe taxes in 2022 or
Mm-hmm.
for 2022, and you made those payments in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deduct that on your 2023 taxes, because that is money you owed for a prior year.
Mm, correct.
But those, estimated quarterly tax payments will be deductible
Okay.
on your
Gotcha.
2023 tax return.
Gotcha. So you heard it. So it's kind of like, for lack of a better term, like a prepay.
Correct.
It's like a prepay, right? So just make sure that everybody clear on that, right? So good job. All right. So we said calm down, get a second opinion from a tax preparer, request a payment plan from the IRS. Number 4, here we go.
Look, we just talked about this.
We just talked about it. Pay quarterly estimated taxes. Now, how are you going to be able to know how much you owe? First of all, you got to have books. You got to have a system in place to be able to calculate um your revenue, right? And then also your expenses. There is nothing outside. We're gonna be this is the fundamental for everything that's going on in business finances.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know your numbers at the core of it all. Revenue minus expenses. That's the super basic fundamental.
Basic.
Right. Right. And so the platform is EFTPS. EFTPS. What's the I think it's EFTPS. I should have researched it beforehand. But I
We'll
think
get back
I
to
always
that.
get I get them I always get them acronyms mixed up. Hold on for a second. Say EFTPS.
Look, we both over here.
Yeah, yeah, it's EFTPS. Yes, it is. Right. So EFTPS.gov. That is the website. I'm gonna put it on here on this banner. Hold on, create a new banner. EFTPS.gov. We like to do real time education over here. All right. Where your quarterly taxes.
There you go. Help the people. Help the people.
Help the people. There you go. EFTPS.gov. Right. So make sure that you pay your quarterly taxes there. Any tips or anything about the platform, Latasha, that people need to be aware of?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I didn't actually want to mention the platform. I want to talk about how they need to calculate that.
Well, go ahead, sis.
Well, number one, if you if you owe taxes in 2022, you're going to end up with some vouchers that are going to estimate what you need to pay for 2023. So that would be the first place I would start when it comes to those tax pays, and not just federal, actually, like state too.
Hey. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the second way to do so is like Sonya said, if you're actually keeping track of your bookkeeping, looking at that bottom line number on a quarterly basis and just estimating, like taking, 15 to
Mm-hmm.
20% of what your total net profit is and making a payment that way.
Absolutely. It's as simple as that, y'all. So you got to know your numbers, doc.
Always important because,
Always important. Yeah, because what you don't want to do either, and here's the thing about the refunds that people don't understand. Although folks get excited about these tax refunds, you're actually lending your money to the government for free. And why in the world would you do that? Because you know how the IRS is. They don't play fair. There's no reciprocity. They ain't like, oh, Sonya, you owe us taxes this year. That's all right. We got you, fam. Blah blah
right,
blah. No. As soon as if you owe taxes and in April 16th, 2024 at 12:00 a.m. Central Standard Time, the clock starts on your penalties and your interest. They run the clock. So why in the world would you overpay in federal taxes withheld, right? Just to, give them, an interest-free loan. Don't do that.
because they ain't paying you interest on their money.
They are not. They are not. Right. So that's why we always talk about mindset, especially for us business owners.
Hmm.
You got to get that part. You got to shift from that mentality, right?
Hmm.
Every year expecting a refund. Because from the business side of it, that means there's a good chance that you're probably reporting a loss. Not saying all cases,
Hmm.
but yeah. So that's why you have to, check that. Okay. So that's why we say go ahead and pay your quarterly estimated taxes and, get in the habit of having that as part of your monthly reconciliation process. Because although, like say what Latasha said, if you do your monthly reconciliation process,
Hmm.
if you have a profit, one, you're gonna move that money hopefully over to a savings account or to a reserve, because
Yes.
when the quarter ends and you submit your estimated payment, you already got the money set aside.
Right. And that
Go
money set aside is from the money you made in that year.
ahead.
You're not having to pull money out of like 2024 profit, whatever you profit, any profits you have in 2023, your tax payments should just come out of that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we got to be more disciplined in our process, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So paying your quarterly estimated taxes. All right, number 5. For those of us who are still working full time and have W-2 income, update your W-4. It would be like clockwork when I was, working in my former job, and all the staff. You can tell when tax time come. One, they gonna be asking for them W-2s, and then two, they
Hmm.
come back sad because they're like, "Hey, I don't want my taxes. I don't know what happened." Blah 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 blah. I
Right.
said, "Did you check your W? You need to check your W-4." And I'm going to specifically tell you what I noticed when I was working with that W-4, because when the presidential administrations changed, when Trump was, in office, the W-4 form changed,
Significantly.
because prior to him being in office, that middle section of the W-4, you would have to write in like the number of dependents you had and all the other stuff like that. You had to check some boxes and da 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 da, and it will let you know, like, if you were married with two exemptions or single with no exemptions or something like that. They didn't have that on the new updated W-4.
Mm-mm.
And if you don't update it, then it's just going to roll over and do its own default calculation, if you will, unless you go in there and adjust it. So what I noticed when that happened, a lot of people's federal income tax withheld was significantly less. There was one coworker that they didn't take any taxes out on hers at all. Right. And she was like, I got my check all the time. I thought, I was paying tax. I said, well, let's look at your W-2 and then let's look at your check. And sure enough, because of her income,
Mm-hmm.
and if she had, her dependents, they didn't take out any taxes at all.
Mm-hmm. Had that happen to someone as well. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, all this didn't start until they changed to W-4. And I would say it was happening to people that had been at their jobs like a couple years
Mm-hmm.
too.
Right.
And I think we have to, with the way it is now, like we have to continue to, educate everybody. It was like, hey, quarterly, you need to be checking your federal income tax withheld on your W-2. Make sure it looks right. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'll go a step further and say there's is it a federal estimator on the IRS
Calculator on the
website.
IRS website.
So I
Mm-hmm.
would even recommend using that so that you can check to make sure that whatever is being taken out is accurate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, there is a, excuse me, estimated payroll calculator. I think it's something like that. Yeah, on the IRS website. Because I
Hmm.
know you're probably thinking like, well, how in the world am I going to be able to try to figure that out? Go use your free resources on the IRS website. And like I said, the IRS is the Bible. I wouldn't go anywhere else trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
Don't use nobody else's calculator. Use the IRS's calculator.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you come to us and we give you guidance, guess who we're gonna tell you to go to? The IRS, right?
Yeah.
So just saying that out loud, y'all. Cool, right? And then also too, don't be, especially like if you go get your taxes done and you do end up having to owe, and the tax preparer says you may want to take out an additional, set amount, every pay period or whatever. Start out and see how that goes,
Right.
right? Because The W-4 can always be changed throughout the year. It's not a one and done like your benefits,
Right.
open enrollment. You can request to adjust it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then for most of you who may have access to your payroll information, like on your mobile app or on a website, you should, if it really depends on the payroll platform and what level of access you have, but you should be able to, if you can't change anything else, you should be able to change your demographics, like your address and phone number. You should be able to adjust your direct deposit, your banking information, and you should be able to adjust your W-4. You should be
Right.
able to do that from those platforms. And what will happen is that your administrator or your HR department will get notified, your payroll specialist, they'll get an email notification that you changed something.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. So make sure that you look at your W-4. And last but not least, this is Latasha's favorite. Consider tax planning. All right,
Listen.
Latasha.
No, for real.
You get at least
Um, so I highly recommend tax planning. That's going to be the if you usually owe taxes, that's going to be the biggest way to make sure you don't owe taxes or for you to owe the least amount of taxes. And checking in with your tax preparer, seeing if they even offer that. I know that I've already told my clients, like, okay, after tax season, I'm going to start offering quarterly tax check ins simply because a lot of people just need some hand holding. And if you like, I'm tired of paying my taxes when taxes are due, then it starts with tax planning throughout the year. Like you can't wait until it's time to file your taxes and then try to figure out a way not to owe. Like by
right.
then it's too late.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially if you're my bad.
Go ahead.
Especially if you like don't qualify for like any additional tax credits like a child tax credit or like the business credits that are available, or if you know it's hard for you to itemize because of how high the standard deduction is, then I would definitely recommend you get some tax planning assistance.
All right. So you heard it here from the expert. Right. So at the end of the day, it's all about your success is going to, well, how can I say it? If you're thinking about from a long-term perspective, that's going
Hmm.
to help you, right? What's your vision based off of your income and things like that? What do you want to do? Right. Especially also if you have a business, right? As you continue to grow, right? Just simply just take whatever you made from 2022. What was your annual revenue 2022 to 2023?
Hmm.
Whatever that percentage is from year to year, you at least got, a percentage to estimate and forecast,
Right.
right? So if you're doing probably an average of like a 10% increase in your revenue, then you can use that to forecast and then put some things in place,
Hmm.
right? So, let the experts help you and don't be afraid to invest in yourself. It's
Right.
this stuff right here that you're going to need that's going to, you talking about ROI, this is it.
Hmm.
This is it. This is what's going to help you, especially if you run the play and you trust the experts that are helping you,
Right.
right? And if you get that little inkling, like, I don't know, it's all right to get a second opinion. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. So, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're with somebody that's going to inform you of what you're doing, right? But also hold you accountable as well. They're going to tell you the truth, right?
Yeah.
So, that's part of what our brand is and what we do. We at GIP Financials, our mission is to empower entrepreneurs to know their numbers, prioritize them, make that a top priority so you can position your businesses for profit. You can't get the grants, you can't get the loans, right? You can't even get engaged in a formal partnership with anybody, You can't even sell your business
Mhm.
unless you know your numbers. At the end of the day, it's all about knowing your numbers, right? So I hope that this webinar has helped you guys. We got a couple of announcements. So, first things first, if you are in a position now, it is April the 6th, and you still got receipts all over the place, you are still looking at your business checking account, and you know you ain't done anything with it, right? The tax prep boot camp is still available. We start this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a 2-session workshop. We meet Wednesday, April the 10th. Then we meet the following Wednesday, April 17th. We highly recommend that if you commit to the boot camp that you be there live so you can ask the question and see things in real time, right? Because when we're talking about numbers, it's just easier to be able to do that and have somebody walk you through it, but also get the questions answered
Right.
while you're there. Okay. But we will be checking in on y'all in between the sessions and giving you, video guidance, sending you emails and things like that. The investment is $597. So when you go to the link, what you have to do, one, you're going to pay your $50 deposit to secure your spot, and then we will send you an invoice to pay the remaining $547. But please know, you have to pay your balance in full before class starts, April the 10th. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to direct message us or email us at info@gipfinancials.com and we'll walk you through that process. So that's number one. You do want to say anything about the boot camp, Latasha?
No, just come ready to learn, especially if you know you ain't done nothing all year.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to be honest, coming to a tax point, come to get your taxes done, and you haven't done anything, it makes it a little more difficult and a little more time consuming for us to get it done because we're constantly having to, ask additional questions that could be answered from a profit and loss statement that you already have available. Or even if it's not a profit and loss statement, at least a list of the transactions, like in an Excel spreadsheet, saying this is what I spent my money on and this is how much I made
Mhm.
throughout the year.
Absolutely. Since you talked about spreadsheets, in the tax prep boot camp, we have some users, some business owners that have QuickBooks, but we also have business owners who don't use QuickBooks. And we have a solution for that. So Latasha has created a formula-based spreadsheet called the DIY tracker. And so all that lovely stuff she just said about getting your bank statement, right? You can either type it in or what we suggest, because that might be a lot of information to type, is to export those transactions from your online banking account and move that information, copy and paste it to the tracker in the actual input area. And as you put those amounts in and you categorize them, whether it's income or expenses, the profit and loss is calculating stuff on your behalf on the back end, like little elves at the North Pole.
Working on your behalf.
They're working the thing out. So all you have to do, if you go through the boot camp with us and you do everything we ask you to do, right? You're gonna have to commit some time to the process. But guess what? You'll have all the information ready for Latasha to file your taxes, right? It's as
Hmm.
simple as that. And just go ahead.
I was just like, simple.
As simple as that, right? And just know also with Legacy Pro accounting for the taxes, right now, anybody that comes after April the 1st is an automatic tax extension. So Latasha, let the folks know about that because I know they probably over there scrambling.
Listen, if you gonna scramble, then that means we gonna end up scrambling together, and that's not what we want to do.
Right.
Therefore, anybody that comes in right now before the 15th or after, or anytime here on out, there will be an automatic extension that will needs to be filed to ensure that we're not rushed. Like my team and I, we're very diligent and we're going to do everything we can to help you decrease your tax liability. And we don't want to feel like we're rushing and then we end up making a mistake that's going to cost you money. Like that's not how we roll over here. So
Mhm.
we have an internal deadline that has already passed, and
Mhm.
now you're going to have to get an extension to make sure that everything is done properly and correctly.
All right, you heard it here, folks. Y'all, you heard it here first, y'all. Right. So I want y'all to hear that systems save businesses, right? Because in order for us to function at our capacity, especially during tax season, for us on the bookkeeping side and Latasha on the tax side, we have to put things in place, right? And that's the reason why. Because one of the things, if you don't get anything else from your bookkeeping, your tax preparer, your information should be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we can ensure that your work is accurate is that we have to be very intentional about how we utilize our time,
Right.
period. Right. So I've had to make some adjustments in my schedule, right? Latasha had to make some adjustments in her schedule because it's crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
It's crunch time now. And so we're all one, we're going to honor, the folks that have done what we asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Submitted their stuff before April the 1st to ensure that we can get their stuff done, right?
Right.
And keep in constant communication with them to make sure that we deliver on time,
Mm-hmm.
on or
Right.
before the deadline. So yes, so we just wanted you to hear, right, kind of the thought process behind why we do what we do,
Right.
right, and then also with the pricing as well. So like you heard Latasha talking about, if you come to her when one of your taxes done, and you haven't organized any of your numbers, please know that's an added expense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially if you don't want to do it because you're just rushing to get your taxes done. Right?
Right.
Even if you just give her all 12 months of your bank statement, she still got to organize it. That's an
Mm-hmm.
additional charge.
This take a lot of time too, especially if I don't know. Like some of the deposits, like they may just be contributions you made to your business. So
Mhm.
trying to figure out all of that information, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna push your stuff to the side because it's very time consuming. Like I'm gonna work on it, but again, if I have somebody that's already gotten everything together and I know it's not gonna take me nearly as long, then theirs is gonna come first. I'm just being honest because 12 months of bank statements and you got all these transactions is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's really a lot. So it's either you pay and I actually do it, or you just want me to go through it, then it's not as much of a priority because you have to be able to prioritize your own numbers in order for me to prioritize your numbers as well. I
Of
hope that
course.
made sense.
That made perfect sense. Because if you go to Latasha and she's like, you didn't bring me any organized financials, but I got somebody who can help you, and she recommends you the GIP financials. I'm telling you now, you're gonna have to pay for that.
Hmm.
That's an investment,
It is. That's
right?
why
'Cause
you
that
should
is
join the boot camp and invest there so you don't have to pay three times or more
right.
to get your
Exactly.
bookkeeping done
Exactly. Because you got to think about it. You want us to do 12 months
in a short
of,
amount of time.
right. And because most of the time, our estimated turnaround time for a cleanup is 60 days,
Hmm.
right? 12 months of expenses and income in 2 months. And that's a basic. We ain't talking about other businesses who might have assets and
Hmm.
you done sold stuff throughout the year. You got employees and things like that. Those factors make make it, tougher for us to meet that deadline. Especially on top of that, if you get all this stuff and it's still not organized.
Yep, it does. You're right.
Yeah. So we just want to let you know ahead of time
Yeah,
if you want us to do it. But at least you know it's gonna be right though.
right. Because, like I said, we diligent over here,
Right. And we
and
got
that's
resources.
yeah. And I was gonna say, there is a fee to file your extension.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be clear. There is a fee to file your extension. You are free to do it on your own, but if you want me to do it, there will be a fee attached. And the fee is going to depend on whether you have a business or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
There you go. All right. So right. So I don't want you going back over here talking about, well, I thought normally the tax extensions are free. She said it's free. You can do it on your own. However,
Get your
it
fee.
y'all, if you got an expert that's going to help you file your stuff, those little things right there, it's just a no-brainer. Just go on and let Latasha do it.
Yeah, because it's time that I have to file the extension. So like I said, you can do it yourself and that's totally fine. But if you want me to do it, there is a fee
Mm-hmm.
attached to it because you could choose to be like, no, I don't want to go with you, and then that's that. So you're
Exactly.
gonna have to pay for my time.
Exactly. Couldn't have said any better myself. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And so, yeah, we had to pretty much kind of do something similar to that on the GIP side to where, um, because our consultations, due to me, because I'm a teacher, because I like to overteach, those things would be 15 minutes. Them things will stretch out to about 30 minutes, right? Because folks will constantly asking questions. So what we had to do, one, we had to put somebody else on the lead as the discovery call, and that's our staff accountant, Diamond David. She gonna get you in and out in 15 minutes. Next thing is that we offer a service called the financial diagnostic, meaning that we review the way that your books are at the current state, give you information, give you tips on how to rectify it.
Hmm.
And then you can take that information, you can shop it around for pricing because we're gonna give you a price, or you can work with us and then we just deduct the amount of the diagnostic
Right.
from the cleanup, right? So there's different ways around how you can be, helped in this aspect. So yeah, so we just
Mhm.
want to make sure that you got all the information that you needed. So make sure too that, let me see, I'm gonna take this off so I can add the link and all the good stuff in the comments so y'all can have it. There we go. And I'm gonna do it on Instagram.
Come on.
There we go. All right. So y'all, so if you need to get in touch with Latasha, there is the link. So no excuses, right? Okay, y'all. So any questions or anything on your side, Latasha?
No, I don't see any.
Okay, I don't have anything on my end either. But look, don't let that stop you. If you're listening to the replay, you can email us at info@gipfinancials.com, or you can simply reply to whatever, if you're looking on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, you can comment below, or you can message us. Either
Hmm.
one. We'll be able to look at any of those. We got notifications for all of them.
All of them.
All of them. Right? Okay, so any parting words, Latasha?
No, I'm excited about this second round of boot camp.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
Oh, we didn't
What?
mention
What?
it. If you join the boot camp, I will file your extension for free. So, you need a tax extension, you join the boot camp, you get that for free.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. So yeah, so that's the benefit of having what we call like the bundle. So if you're interested in doing the boot camp and you want Latasha, because Latasha's gonna be on the boot camp
Hmm.
with me and one of our staff accountants, Diamond. So you got three people, you know, three combined years of skill in accounting and finance and taxes that are gonna help you with your organization of your stuff, right? And
Hmm.
then from that point, what should be, hopefully, we have developed enough of a relationship to where you're like, I don't want to go to nobody else.
Listen.
I trust Sonja and Latasha, so I'm gonna stick with y'all. So when you do that, and you commit to Legacy Pro as well, then you get your tax extension filed for
Hmm.
free. So see how we love on y'all. See how we take care of y'all.
Yeah. Come on over. Get them numbers in order.
Get them numbers in order.
Because we over deliver.
We do. We
We
do
over
overdo
deliver
that.
during that boot camp. We was on there oh, a minute the last time. I was like, oh, we've
Hmm.
been teaching for a minute.
We've been
It was
teaching.
well worth it though. It was well worth it. Well worth the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that you're in a safe space where you can get all of your um tax questions answered, your bookkeeping questions answered, even just, just expressing, your sentiments about prior experiences, right? This is a
Hmm.
safe space.
Yeah.
So we're going to walk you through it because we have heard and seen quite a bit.
Yeah, we have.
Hmm. So trust me, there is no financial experience that we haven't seen. Because a
Hmm.
lot of CEOs come to us like, I'm not good with numbers, or my numbers are a mess, and they just come already, beating themselves up and stuff
Hmm.
like that. We have to stop that. We don't do that. No, we're here to help you. You made an investment that needs to be celebrated,
Hmm.
right? Our mentor, Pastor Sean Strickland, says anything over zero is a plus. The fact that you invested in yourself and your business to get your numbers together, that's a plus, and it needs to be
Hmm.
celebrated.
And it's a deduction. So
Deduction.
please remember that.
It is right.
For
The
your
tax boot
for
camp.
your business, that is. Not on the
Right.
person. It's not deductible on the person side, but definitely for your business, it tax prep fees are deductible. Tax prep boot camp is deductible.
That's right. We want to know why? Because they are ordinary and necessary for your
They
business.
are. That's why y'all should have bookkeeping too on a monthly basis. And
Disclaimer.
look, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not
It's a
even
whole
going.
nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation. We try to keep at least one call to action per live, but we got something cooking in the crock pot.
Yeah.
That's going to be rolling out hopefully in May, right? So yeah, we're excited about that. So cool. All right, y'all. Well, the time is now 7:47, so we don't want to hold you too long. Because remember, we said like the stream yard, if we're over here for over an hour, then it's gonna cut the Instagram off. So we're gonna be good, right? Okay.
Okay.
So let's see. I'm just checking Instagram right quick. All right. Well, cool deal. I think we're good. And y'all, we appreciate you taking your time to hang out with us. And if you need assistance, feel free to reach out to us, DM us, especially any of those organizations that have a whole bookkeeping team or accounting team. And maybe you might have a job, an accounting staff job that you haven't fulfilled yet and you need some outsourcing. We are also available for that service as well if you need it. So just DM us and we will schedule a discovery call with you on that. Okay, y'all. Y'all have a good evening, and we will catch you um on the next. We'll try to come in and do another live,
Yeah.
maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
You just have to figure it out. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Take care.